Okay. Mic check. Oh, we on? Look. Tag City all day. Look. What's that city coming out the west side? Coming out the west side. That's Tag Town living at the top of I-5. At the top of I-5. My blood, my sweat, my tears don't lie. My tears don't lie. Man, I'm coming out of a city called Tacoma. It ain't over until the whole city golden.
Welcome back, everybody. Gabe Moen here with Chris Kissling and my wife. Her first appearance here. This is Kayla Moen, and we're inside the podcast. We wanted to talk a little bit about these people that come to us, both men and women, and the first statement they make when inquiring about personal training or doing a body comp, re-body comp, is the number one statement is, "I don't want to get too big and bulky."
Yes.
And I'm floored. I'm automatically floored.
I am not floored.
And I'll tell you why I'm floored, because automatically right out the gate, my brain goes to, okay, so if muscle, first of all, let's just go to the basics. If muscle's that easy to put on, I'm going to bottle your genetics.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to sell it to every man and female in this industry, because that is the most blasphemous statement, that there are literally thousands of people out there grinding every day, eating meals with purpose, and it is a struggle to put on muscle. This is not an easy feat.
To even maintain it, let alone put it on. So
yeah, and I've been working with females for the past 20 some years, and it's literally 65%, I'm rough estimate, maybe higher, female clientele my entire career. Yeah. And it's the number one is, I don't want to get big and bulky.
Well, and I told you that we didn't even discuss this prior, like hardly before we started the podcast. I was working with someone the other day whose wife, she literally made that statement. She doesn't want to train with weights because she doesn't want to get too big and bulky. It's everywhere. That's everybody's misconception.
Yeah, that's an
well,
infection.
and that's what I used to think, like, before Gabe and I really started, dating, and he started training me. I always described it as, like, I would lift cute weights. Like, you'd get in the gym and you'd be like, 5 pound, curl. And you would think that was enough, to where I always said my thing was, like, I want to be toned. I don't want to be bulky, right? And so, like, girls, and then you'd be like, whenever I'd go to like yoga or like different things, I'd be like, I need to go to yoga to lengthen my muscles.
They must have a surgeon on staff. It's a good surgeon. I want to lengthen my muscles today.
I just want to lengthen them, so I want them to be like lengthy.
Honey, I have heard that so many times, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because you see infomercials, you see that Dr. Oz quack, like all these people, Oprah, like they've had show after show after show talking about, oh, this will lengthen your muscles. Well, I got news for you. Like, your muscles are your muscles from insertion to origin, from the day you were born to the day you die. You cannot lengthen your muscles. Like, that's absurd. And then what was the other thing that you helped me out with? What was the other thing you said? To the cutesy weights, and then what else?
I don't remember what I said. Okay. I would say just the biggest thing, the biggest misconception for me specifically was, like, I thought if you did cutesy weights and you did lengthening of your muscles, that, like, you wouldn't get exactly what women say, the bulky, right? Like, I think about, like, a bicep with, like, a golf ball, right? And, like, oh, I don't want a golf ball on my bicep, so I'm going to lengthen it.
Which is also
half of a baseball,
that's just uneducation talking, because you can't. The genetic shape of your bicep is your genetic shape of your bicep. You can't change that. Like, there's some people that have a very football-shaped bicep, and then there's people like Arnold that have a very peaky, round softball under the arm look. But that is not something that can be acquired or attained or changed through training weights. It's just or yoga.
Lengthening.
GStandard will be lengthening your muscles.
I also think we need to, like, address the other elephant in the room, is the myth that you got to do cardio to lose fat, and that's just the biggest line of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. I've gotten ready all the way up to like 6 to 8 weeks out, doing zero cardio, and
my partner's 4 weeks out from the Vancouver, and he's not done 1 second of cardio.
No,
and he says he's still continuously dropping.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's and that's part of that's genetics, part of that's but a normal functioning person with a great plan, a great nutrition plan going into, and somebody that's, you know, constantly updating their nutrition plan as their body evolves. Because for anybody out there that thinks that you can just, you know, hire a coach, if they throw you a cookie cutter diet, throw it out, you say, here, follow that for the next couple months, run.
Yep.
Run. Because my clients hear from me every day, vice versa. Like, you know, Chris, we've checked in, you know, Chris did, you know, I helped him kick off his, because he's a very smart dude. Like, I can teach this guy how to fish in one session.
I appreciate that.
No, I'm serious. It is. But you get it though, right?
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people out there that don't understand the concept of losing fat and the metabolism and how hypertrophy or the gaining of lean tissue actually happens. And the way it actually happens is consistency with both, you know, food, eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, balanced meals, carbs, proteins, fats. Cardio is an afterthought. Cardio, you're sending a signal to your body that says, I want to get aerobically in shape. And we're not trying to be marathon runners. If you're trying to be if you're trying to recomp your body and lose body fat and gain muscle tissue and get that tone, that's the word I was looking for, that tone. I hate that word. I want to put a dagger in it. Like, because that's, I do.
I want to tone up.
I want to get all big and bulky.
We all say.
No, they all say it. Yeah, I've yet to have a female client. I stopped training people a long time ago, but when I would have female clients come in, that was the number one thing: tone. And
I just want to tone my arms up, tone my legs up, tone my butt up.
Tone my belly.
Which brings me to the next thing is spot reduction, because that's the next thing they go to, because they go, Gabe, I really hate this, or I really hate this, or my saddlebags, or whatever. And I, you know, unfortunately, there's no such thing as spot reduction. You can't target any one specific area of your body that you don't like. And, you know, and flash, you know, news flash, it's like whatever your least favorite body part is, it's going to be the last to go. Like, that's your holding spot. So keep dieting until it's gone. And that's the way it is. You know, Arnold said if it jiggles, it's fat. Yeah, it's true.
I know that I did this. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But I think, like, to what you were saying in regards to that too, I think that a lot of times we, at least for me when I was starting out, like, I would say, okay, I really want abs, right? And I didn't focus a ton on the diet, which maybe we can get into about, like, carbs and those things, myths about that.
Abs are made in the kitchen.
Oh, man.
What have you learned?
But first I would say in regards
Hold on, let me do my Mr. Burns. I can't wait to hear
so
this.
why did we get in trouble? No, but I would say, just like in regards to that, like, I would focus so much more on in regards to spot reduction, like, okay, let me do these crunches and I'm going to get my, you know, I always had 2 abs, but I'm going to get that bottom, you know, that bottom ab. And so if I just do crunches, and you see so many people that go in the gym and that's what they do, is cardio, crunches,
and that's
crunches.
of the mindset that if you train that muscle, it's going to suddenly appear.
Yes, and
someday.
the fat's going to just come off, right? Like that's really spot reduction, not just through diet. It's like, okay, if I hit that cardio, because I used to call myself cardio queen. Like, I had a shirt that said cardio queen, you know, because I loved cardio. I thought that was what was going to get me toned.
You loved cardio only because you loved the idea of what cardio was supposedly going to do for you.
Well,
because now you don't do cardio.
I hate cardio.
Hate cardio.
I know. I'm like,
I feel like it's a waste of time.
Are you sure I got to do it 5 days a week? Are we sure?
Yeah.
But so I think that was the thing, is that I thought I loved cardio. I thought that was what was working, right?
Can I step in real quick?
Yeah.
We're not talking about 10, 15, 20 minutes, even half-hour cardio. We're talking about like hours of cardio. Like, I see women in there doing, like, they'll bust out an hour and 20, whatever, and then do it again later in the day.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I would go during lunch and I would do 45 minutes to an hour of cardio, and I would do HIIT cardio during that time because I had no idea what I was doing. And then I would go back and I would do an hour on the treadmill with, like, the top incline for fat burning, right? Like, I had all these things. I did.
Keep it in the orange.
I would do fat burning cardio at night, you know?
Yeah.
So that was, like, my thing, but I loved that because I thought, oh, well, I'm getting tired, right? And then I'd go lift my cutesy weights. Well, of course, I thought cardio did more because I was tired. Where your cutesy 5-pounders aren't doing, you know, really anything.
So now that you've learned what you've learned, now kind of break it down and tell them what you're actually doing and what's happened, and we'll share your pictures, you know, but we're not done yet. I mean, you're only you just made it to the 4-week marker of consistent. When
Consistent
I say
diet, like nail it diet. Yeah.
Right. So
is she doing better than you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
she is.
Yeah,
No, she
doing
is.
better
She's
than
doing
me.
better than me.
I've nailed
Yeah.
all my macros.
But we're on the same page today, though.
Yeah.
We'll be back up and running today.
Yeah.
But yeah, what have you learned, like working with me? And I mean, I know we've dispelled 100% of those stupid myths that you thought you were doing yourself good by. But what are you doing now?
I think biggest thing is obviously getting to cut out cardio has been an amazing thing where we've just used it, and maybe you can talk a tiny bit about that because I like the way you describe like the purpose of what cardio is actually for, right? That yes, it's for your heart and those things, but there's other purposes for it. How you explain to me, and you do a better job, but I'll try to do my Kayla version.
Yeah.
Like you've explained to me that essentially it's just like we're burning a specific amount of calories. So if we're like, okay, you know, we want more fat loss and we're going to keep your macros the same. If we add in this cardio and now you've burned 100, calories essentially in this time, that's kind of how I've taken it. So it's more used as a tool, an aid for fat loss rather than the one-stop shop of like actual fat loss. And then on the other side of it, obviously learning that like lifting weights is really fun. I think that for me has like been the biggest thing. It's just like weights are so fun. It's fun to get in there and challenge yourself. And when I first started, I had done competitive cheer for so many years, but then took a little break, and I was on like this. Well, it's called Whole30, which is I think a great. I don't know how to say that. I think it's a great lifestyle for like, so you eat basically whole foods and you can pick, catch, whatever. But I was eating like all vegetables for my carbs, so it was like you could give me 2 pounds of green beans, and I was going in for the green beans, right? So when I met him, I was so frail, like I bruised all the time. And I was tiny, but I was skinny fat. Like I was convinced that I was like in shape, right? Because I was small and I wore a small size, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. But I was for sure skinny fat, and we would go in and we would do different things, and I was. When we were doing like the hip thrust, and I remember I could just use the bar, and that was like, you'd be like 12 of them, and I'm like, oh no, this is not, and I still didn't think that was cute weight, right? Like, I'm like, the bar, that's not cute. and as I've gone on now, I'm like, oh, 3 plates, yes, so I think number 1, it's fun. Number 2, and you don't get bulky. Like, you're only going to get, like you've said, as bulky as your body's going to let you, unless you're, as a woman, especially using steroids and those sorts of things, which I'm not going to do. So I think that's what I've learned a lot of, is just like using the weightlifting side of it and focusing on that rather than the cardio. You feel and get such better results.
And the reason why for that is because when you're out there challenging your body, and resistance training, right? When you're resistance training, you're placing load on the muscle, you're breaking down tissue, it's repairing, hopefully bigger and better. Because with more muscle tissue, we're gonna burn more calories at rest, right? So if we're burning more calories at rest, then why wouldn't the goal be to put on as much possible lean mass as you possibly can, no matter what your gender is, doesn't matter. You're not gonna get big and bulky, like Kayla said, because you're not on steroids. If you're not on steroids, I mean, if you want to get big and bulky, obviously this doesn't have anything to pertain to you. It's nothing to do with you. But the women out there that look up on these, well, now it's websites, and Instagram and such. But when you look up on stage and see these women competing, they're using steroids. Like they're using steroids all the way down to the bikinis. Competitors, they're using steroids. This is no secret in my industry. I think it's sad. I do. I think it's sad. I think that we could. I mean, it's everybody's individual decision and choice. Some of my coaches have been female. They've been on Juice, world-class powerlifting record holders. Becca Swanson, like all these people. It's no secret, right? But the thing is like not everybody wants to look like that. Right?
And that's where females, that misconception with females, it's not, if they're natural, it's not really in their genetic structure to get big. And
girls, you don't produce enough testosterone to get big. It's just not a possibility for you, unless you're just like a genetic freak. Those exist. They exist. But don't let it detour you, is what I'm saying. Don't let it detour you from lifting weights, because lifting weights, like I said, you're gonna build a bigger machine that's gonna burn more fuel at rest, and once you've done that, then cardio becomes basically obsolete.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do cardio, and I think the 10-minute walks that Stan Efforting suggests are brilliant.
Yep.
We're supposed to eat and move as humans. We're not supposed to eat and sit behind a desk.
Yep.
So 10-minute walks. I've been doing those now, and Tonka and I, we love doing them. We go out and take them.
Tonka needs them.
He needs them.
He does. He's a
lazy
little
boy. The life of a bulldog.
No, that's why I'm appreciative for my physical job, because we're nonstop moving. So it's
Keeps
I
it.
eat and move.
Yep, and that helps with digestion, guys. And that's the sole purpose for cardio for me, is to upregulate digestion, and because when you're moving, food's moving in your tummy, it's being broke down.
Absolutely.
It becomes more bioavailable to the body.
You get better use.
Absolutely.
Out of what you're into.
Yeah, you get way more absorption. So, try taking 10-minute walks after 2 or 3 of your meals if you're serious about keeping your blood sugar low. And
Helps the blood pressure too.
Helps the blood pressure. But if you can keep your blood sugar low, the lower you can keep your blood sugar, the more stable you can keep your blood sugar without spiking it, the more opportunity you have to lose fat, because you're in that fat burning stage. That's what I would consider an opportunity.
Yep.
Well, and I would say one thing to that too, like for people that work in an office, right, and don't get those physical jobs, I always think about, okay, how would you get 10 minutes in? Like, oh no, you got to get moving, right? And it's really just about, like you said, moving. Like, go walk down the hallway, get water, then stop and take your little break of saying hi to people. And then it's like, it also gets you up mentally, but then that side of it, it's like you can still do it in the office. You don't have to go outside to do it. You don't have to be on a treadmill to do it.
Right. No, that's true. Stan just posted a video the other day of him marching.
I saw that.
You see that for his hips?
Yep.
Yeah. So Stan recommends, I don't want to get too far off track, but he recommends if anybody out there's got a problem with their hips or low back, check out a book called The Back Mechanic. That's all I'm going to say about that. But cardio, definitely a good choice for heart health and digestion, but you do not, and I repeat this, do not need to do 2 hours of cardio. You do not need to even do an hour of cardio. It's ridiculous. Take it from me, guys. All you amateurs out there listening to these boneheaded coaches that call themselves coaches, you don't need that much cardio. You ask the top trainers in the world, Chris Aceto, Chad Nichols, Hani Rambod, they'll tell you it's definitely client specific as to how much cardio they have to do, right? But I'll guarantee you there's not one pro right now doing 2 hours of cardio. And unless it's like the easiest cardio you ever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Ronnie Coleman cardio.
Yeah.
Just waddle for an hour, But all that to be said, it's really outside of digestion and keeping the blood sugar regulated and stuff like that. It's really kind of an afterthought when it comes to putting on muscle and becoming a leaner person.
I think the other myth I would say, as like someone coming into this not knowing, is about eating. Like, I think for me, I thought carbs were like the worst thing ever, right? You hear, you want to lose weight, cut carbs. That's always what you hear. Carb cut. And so I think that's something, maybe if you want to touch on that too, about like what carbohydrates do. I love your...
Why don't you talk about it? Because
before we jump on that,
yeah.
Since you started lifting weights, do you feel like your confidence has gone up?
Ooh,
Oh, definitely.
That's,
yeah.
I mean,
that's a great question.
That's...
I'll vouch for you. I know it has.
Yeah. Well, and now it's like I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, look at that baby delt, and I'm like trying to do stuff to get it right.
It's the cutest. It's the cutest. She's like, how do I look, babe? Check this out. Look at this new line.
Look at this. I'm like, look at this vein.
Yeah, she's
It
got a little
looks
vein on her.
crazy.
She's got a little vein on her one arm that's shaped like a heart. It's the I don't know.
It's an upside down heart though.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be one way.
Still
but-
counts.
It does. Still counts. But I used to think like that was the same thing. As I would think like, oh my goodness, like my arms are gonna look like his with just like so vascular, which I didn't know what that word was back then either.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm gonna lift and I'm gonna get veiny. And I think exactly what you were saying about like we think about women bodybuilders, right? Like actual in the bodybuilding, not bikini, not wellness. Like when we're saying I don't want to bulk, we're thinking of that. And when you don't have education on, oh wow, well they take steroids, right? Or they're taking testosterone. When you don't know that because you're someone that's just not in the industry, you think your body's going to get like that, right? So you're convinced I'm going to lift weights and instantly these veins are going to pop out, my arms are going to get huge. And so just knowing that as well as like, okay, nope, that's not going to happen to me unless I'm injecting myself with
Well, and on the other end of that, when people make those statements like, I don't want to look like that, or I don't want to be the big and bulky, they're discrediting the hard work that those people put in. Like, they think they're just going to go in, put in half an hour, 45 minutes to the weights, and then, like, that's what they're going to, like, they're...
Yeah.
They just raised their hand and opted out of being a pro bodybuilder, is what it sounds like. Like they ever had a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think it's out of insecurity. Of course. Because a lot of people come in and say, you know, oh, I don't want to look like you. And in fact, they 100% want to look like me.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't take offense to it. I used to when I was younger because I couldn't understand how somebody couldn't appreciate the hard work that I put in, right?
Yeah.
And really what it is it's just, it's no different than anything we face today. The hatred that, you know, this person has something that they don't.
And that's what it is. Like we've talked about before, haters are just people that are jealous of your situation.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Well, I think too, when you're in the gym and you're working and you're trying to then gain muscle, right? Like as you get to that place where I'm like, oh, I want to put on more muscle now, which is where I'm at. Before I used to not, but when you see what it takes, like you were saying, that hard work,
it's hard work.
then it's like, even if, you know what, I don't want to look like a woman that does actual bodybuilding, like in that category, right? You begin to appreciate it where you're like, that is so beautiful. Like, holy moly, those hours and hours, that dedication, that anything. So, like you were saying, like you learn to appreciate it more than just, I don't want to look like that.
No, when I see a big dude, I mean, because I know where it's coming from, but I know that it's not just the time in the gym; it's the dedication to food, your sleep, and your recovery.
Well, let's be honest. It's more so food and sleep than it is the gym.
100%.
Because we get, what do we get? We get a little 45-minute treat, hour treat in here. So, and I've always used this analogy with people all the time. Like, you know, there's nothing you can do in an hour in the gym that's going to negate the other 23 hours of the day. So don't neglect those 23 hours a day to do what's right, because you cannot fake eating 5 to 6 meals a day. You cannot fake training once, twice a day. It shows up on your body one way or another.
Well, how many times have we had conversation about sleep and importance of sleep? I've done a lot of reading recently on trying to because I get a limited amount of time to sleep.
You got to maximize that.
So I try to maximize the use of that sleep, the recovery, because that's where you're going to grow.
Yep. In the recovery, and I think that needs to be stressed. Say that one more time, really loud, Chris. You grow when you sleep.
You grow when you sleep, you know, science says you need to have an adequate amount of recovery sleep. You need to go through 3 sleep cycles. 1 sleep cycle is an hour and a half. So people think they need to be in bed 8-9 hours. You don't necessarily need to be in bed 8-9 hours. You need to maximize. You know, I get 6.5 hours of sleep.
That's plenty for me.
And I know that the majority of the time, I'm not going to say every night, but the majority of the time I get those 3 sleep cycles.
That's cool.
And I'm recovering better now with that because of the things that I do prior to sleep to maximize my sleep as opposed to when I was laying in bed 8-9 hours.
Right.
So
there is definitely a huge difference between those that get sleep and those that don't. You can see it in their complexion. You can see it in their eye color.
Of course.
You can see it in the clarity of their skin.
Yep.
There's a lot of things. Like your face, you look cheeky, you look pink, you look healthy, you look bright. You know what I mean? That's not to be weird, but that's not to be weird, but that's literally those are the telltale signs of a healthy person.
Yeah, and I don't take any sort of supplementation for sleep. You know, I wear blue blocker glasses at night. I try to limit my screen time and so on and so forth, and I go right to sleep.
Talk about that blue blocker real quick, because I think people, I just learned about it probably a couple months ago, and just before you had told me about it, and you refreshed my memory about it, which was cool.
So your phones now, most modern phones have a switch on their phone that will block your blue light. Blue light doesn't necessarily prevent, but it slows the production of your natural melatonin. So TV screens, computer screens, any sort of digital screen puts off blue light. And that the closer you are to your bedtime that you're subjected to blue light, it slows your secretion of natural melatonin. Melatonin is what puts you to sleep. Melatonin is also, that's a cancer-fighting hormone. A lot of people don't understand that. That's one of the strongest hormones that your body produces. And people, they take melatonin supplements, they supplement. And those are supplements for a reason. They're not a cure-all. It's kind of like medication.
Exactly.
Medication shouldn't be a long-term thing. It should be just to get you over a hump until you get your body in a position to, correct it by itself. Your body's, and it's an amazing machine, and we don't treat it well enough.
I agree. I've been trying to get my water in lately, and that's been my biggest issue, is getting in enough water. I got my gallon in the past week, and I got to push it up to 1.5 gallons this week. So
I've always been good about my water.
Yeah.
But like we talked before, when you first started in my food, you were like, how's your water? And I'm like, well, I do a gallon a day. And you're like, well, you need at least a gallon and a half. And so I thought I was doing good on water. No, I'm a gallon and a half, 2 gallons a day. Especially on work days, it's 2.5 gallons.
And your pumps are ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. That's another thing. Craig Goliath, my buddy Craig, he made water famous again somehow. He was so funny with the way he does stuff. But the H2O flow, like that, it's that important. And Craig and I talk a lot about it. It's 2 gallons of water a day to keep these muscles hydrated.
So before we jump too deep into that, what people need to understand is your sodium intake needs to be on point when you're drinking that much water. So filtered water, like most of us use filtered water living in this area. Filters strip your water of all their vitamins and minerals. Yeah, so like,
or not phytos, but minerals.
Like I add pink Himalayan salt to my water at work. And
can you taste it?
Yeah, it actually adds a nice flavor to the water.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not dumping 4 or 5 teaspoons, but probably a half a gram or so into my water every half gallon, and because there's been times I've drank 2.5 gallons of water, and then on the way home I'm cramping.
Yeah, you rinsed your electrolytes and minerals.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that is a good point. If start out, baby step it. Make sure you're taking a multivitamin. Make sure you're salting your foods that need salt or that can have salt, because it's a really important electrolyte. It's the most important electrolyte to me, because I feel like sodium being being a component that grabs water and pulls it into the muscle cells and hydrates the muscle cell. That's one way, and then there's carbohydrates. But sodium's so important for muscle contraction. So like, if your sodium's on, your water's on, food's on, and then you come in and you train with, just take like 2 grams of table salt, like iodized table salt.
And I've been doing that.
Yeah, I'll take 2 grams of iodized table salt along with my Go Red, and then I go out on the floor after that, and I just get pumps that literally hurt. Like they're
I get pumps,
painful.
and then I don't cramp.
I don't cramp either,
during my workouts. Where I struggle the most is lower posterior, so my hamstrings. Those, like, prior to that, I would even lightweight trying to warm them up, they ball up, and that's the worst.
Wow.
And that'll kill a training day.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're warming up and your hamstrings are balling up already, you're like, fuck this. I don't want anything.
Play
to
the
do with
guitar
this.
on the hammy.
Yeah.
I don't. I know those things. Yeah, those hurt. I've had cramps in the car before where I rinsed my electrolytes, by not salting my food enough, and I was slamming water and be in traffic, and
Oh man,
that's the worst.
because I go to Seattle every day and then come back up here to Tacoma.
You ever had to throw the car and park on the side of the road?
Yeah, and I drive this little, I have my Charger, but I have this little hoopty I drive back and forth to work that I barely fit in.
Commuter.
Yeah, my commuter car, and I've had like my bottom abs.
Seattle issues, y'all.
Yeah, especially 3 o'clock traffic. I've had my bottom abs roll up and cramp up, and I can't stretch out in that car.
Your abs?
Yes.
All the time.
The only thing you can do is hope to get to the side of the road, recline your seat, and stretch.
That was the problem, is my car's too small. Even when I did that, I couldn't stretch it all the way out. So I have to literally get out of the car and lay on the hood and stretch out.
That's class. That's wall.
It's terrible.
That's terrible. Yeah, that'd be like Craig trying to stretch out in that little smart car.
Yeah.
You ever see that? Yeah.
But I would go too into a myth of water. I think that at least I believed. I don't know if it's, I would just narrow it down to just women might believe this, but the myth of like, if you drink a gallon of water, you're going to be a water buffalo. Like,
No.
Like, I was convinced, because Gabe would be like, drink a gallon, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, and then be like, no.
No.
Like, I'll drink, in my mind, I would be like, I'll drink 64 ounces, and like, that's good, like, that's it. I'll just drink my 8 cups, and I'm good to go, because I was convinced I was going to, like, take on all this water weight, and it was just going to stay, right? Like, that I was just going to be
Now, did you
a water
notice
buffalo.
when you cut that water out, you tend to retain more water?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
well, because your
that's
body
how
is
it
smarter
works.
than you, okay? Your body's designed to outsmart you, because you emphatically are stupid, like when it comes to how to regulate it, and it's not your fault. Our education system gives us no leg up on how to control your metabolism, how to balance a bank account, you know what I mean? The basics,
Yeah.
So it's no surprise to me that there's confusion there.
Well, and I think, though, that was one thing you taught me was, like, at first, if I could encourage anyone in drinking water and thinking about, oh, no, I have to get to that gallon mark, is like, yeah, you know what? For 3 days, you're going to probably put on a few pounds of water. And then after that 3 days, because that hormone you said, correct? What is that?
Aldosterone.
Yeah, I knew it was something with an A. because that kicks in, then it's like you're secreting the water at a faster rate.
Yep.
Am I saying that
That's
right?
right.
Like,
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
No.
It's almost like listening to me.
Yeah.
For all your nutrition coaching, right here. I got the backup right here. No, but because of that, then it's like after the 3 days, your body is really just washing it. So then, and then after that, you know, one thing you had told me actually just recently was then, like, you're not carrying that film of water because you're staying hydrated, because your body's not saying, oh, well, this time she's going to drink a gallon and then she's going to starve me for this many days and I'm going to have no water.
And that's where that bloat comes from.
Yeah, spot on, Kayla. That's exactly right. So, no, it is. It's exactly right. You know, 72 days to adjust to just about anything, you know, any variable change. So, I always tell people, you know, for instance, like you, let's just.
You mean 72 hours, right?
What did I say?
72 days.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah,
I was
72
like,
hours.
holy
Sorry about that. That's a
moly.
long time.
I know, I was thinking I have to drink a gallon for 72 days.
That's some serious dedication.
Yeah.
Start now so you look good for summer.
But 72 hours should you know, you should be able to re-regulate and find your new normal. So let's just take for instance, you start at 120 pounds or no, let's say 100. Let's use a better number. Let's use like 128 pounds. Let's say you're 128 pound female, and you're drinking like half gallon a day, and you bump it up to a gallon. You're going to take on maybe a pound or two of water for about 24 to 48 hours, and then you're going to see it start to leave the body on the scale. When you start weighing, weigh yourself in the morning, weigh yourself in at night, see how much fluid transfer you're getting throughout the day, because you're eating, you know, hopefully you're eating 5 to 6 meals a day, drinking your gallon of water. But all that to say, it will re-regulate itself and get you back down to your new normal. And sometimes people are so dehydrated that actually once they get hydrated, they lose more weight. They're actually at a new low.
Yep.
And so keep that in mind, ladies. Don't be afraid to drink your water. A gallon a day, no matter what. Men, I've said this before, like if you're over 200 pounds, you should be drinking at least a gallon and a half. That's all there is to it. 250,
Yeah.
you're 2 gallons.
Oh, yeah.
I need to take note.
What about 3?
I was talking to myself
Yeah.
there.
Well, and I think another deterrent for people is that, well, I'm always peeing.
You will always pee for the first, week or two until your bladder stretches. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to wait for that bladder to stretch. That will be a nuisance, guys. Beware. You're going to be waking up in the middle of the night to go pee for the first couple nights. But if if you have any desire at all to make a change, it's really a drop in the bucket of effort wise. You know, it's just not.
And water's
worth
almost
complaining
free.
about. Yeah,
Nothing's free.
almost free.
It's almost free.
But yeah, very important to stay hydrated because it's gonna literally leach into everything that you do. We're 70% water in our bodies, so without it, we're nothing. So drink your water, guys, and sodium too. Make sure try the little teaspoon of iodized salt prior to the workout with your pre-workout, and let us know how that works for you.
You'll enjoy the pumps.
Yeah, the pumps are ridiculous. All right, well, it wouldn't be a complete show if I didn't sign out and give you guys a little advertisement here, a little marketing. CBD Go Black, that's our post-workout recovery. This right here, electrolytes, essential amino acids, 33.3 milligrams of CBD. And then our pre-workout, Go Red. Our focus here was definitely pump, right? A little bit of energy. I'm really stoked about the mood enhancer in this because we put more mood enhancers in here so that you guys would feel good. There's no bad mood when you take this
What'd
stuff,
you put
guys.
in there for nootropic?
For nootropics, we use Noopept and Noopept, and for the feel good or the aphrodisiac, I used Mucuna Purina, which is the black velvet bean.
And it really does make you happy.
It really does. Okay, so you like, I'm not relating to everybody out there, but I've taken over the years, I've taken so many different individual ingredients, and I've taken so many different products, but I've never really seen anybody focus on something that's truly going to benefit the athlete, for the simple fact that tons of caffeine and stimulants sell. And why do they sell? Because the number one thing that I hear people say, the number one thing I hear them say is, I feel it. Mm-hmm. I can punch you in the arm. You're gonna feel it. It doesn't mean it's gonna work. You know what I mean? And that's the and they're taking advantage of that in the supplement industry. So they're giving you caffeine bombs, which is essentially killing your adrenal glands.
Yep.
When you kill your adrenal glands, if you're one of these guys that brags, or girls that brags about drinking a Red Bull or some kind of a highly caffeinated drink before bed, and then you're actually able to go to sleep, I got news for you. You're in a bad spot.
Well, and you're not getting sleep.
No. You are not sleeping. That's why you don't have an appetite. You don't have energy. You're probably in a pissy mood all the time.
Yeah.
I know I would be.
Yeah.
You know, but you've killed your adrenal glands, and it's going to take a little bit of time to repair that. So if you guys are slamming 300 milligram caffeine drinks on top of other stuff, you're going up, you're crashing. You're up, you're crashing, and you've completely depleted your body's natural energy resource. So. Get off the caffeine, guys. We only put a modest amount of caffeine in here with 100 milligrams. I know Jay Cutler did the same thing with about 125 milligrams in his product.
That's for absorption purposes, correct?
100%, man. Yeah. It's for absorption. It's going to speed up the process, the absorption of the product. And at the same time, the Mucuna and the other things are going to make you feel really, really good. So the euphoria from it that I've experienced is awesome. And then you couple that with an intense pump, which is what every bodybuilder lives for, you know. So that's what.
And girl.
Yeah.
What did Arnold say about the pump? No, we won't.
But yeah, that's this product in a nutshell. But feel good, super good pump, and no crash. That's what I love it. No crash.
Yeah.
And then drink your CBD Go Black on the way home from the gym, and you'll be ready to go when you get home to eat your meal. Beard oils.
Yes.
I don't have any with me yet. They're downstairs.
But you got that beard.
But you got that beard.
This one.
Let's
Put it on the table.
There you go. Put it on the table. So tell them about your beard oil, where they can find that. You got a couple different products. You got 3 different products right now, right?
Yeah, and then we're actually going to get into soaps and beard washes and face washes.
High five
So-
that.
Oh, that's
I am
cool.
so happy to hear that, bro. Because
Yeah.
I just bought from that Squatch.
Yeah.
And their deodorants are fantastic. But
So we are. I'm trying. My wife's making the deodorant right now. I've been using it.
Oh, sick.
Well, because I've been trying to get away from all chemical-based
Yeah.
products. Like
Us too.
We do our own toothpaste. Now we do soap. She just did a face wash for me.
Beautiful.
Because I've been using another bar face wash. I won't plug the company.
Sure. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
But so a lot of people that use our products like our scents. So my wife wanted to try that out, and so we're actually going to start with any incoming order now. We're going to start sending out samples for people to try.
Can I place my order now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm being dead serious,
Yeah.
too.
No, if you-
I really do.
Yeah.
Because my next purchase was going to be soap.
No,
I want soap.
we're already doing body soap.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
No, I'm being dead serious. I really am. I really like those organic products. I used to go to Lush until I found out that they were a bunch of liberal.
That's where the face
Yeah.
part. I didn't want to even.
I'm going to say it
want to plug them
because I know what they're about,
Yeah.
and they're scum,
Yeah.
and I'll never shop there again.
Yep.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
But anybody that stands for that crap, no way. Take my business over to the Viking right here.
Yeah, the last one was the deodorant. That was where my biggest struggle, just because I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like BO.
No.
I don't like stinking.
No,
so,
I want to be the fresh guy too.
Yeah, so we're tweaking it around a little bit, and it seems to be working.
That's
so
awesome.
I did it. I used it, trained, and then I went and worked 8 hours and didn't come home smelling too sour. So
That's awesome.
I think we're on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where can
So-
people find your products right now? The ones that you have.
The modern day Vikings beardcare.com.
There you
So we do have them here at the gym too.
Yeah.
And then if you're from Pierce County and you get on the website, just contact us through the website or the Facebook page, and we can meet up with you to save you shipping.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're local,
Yeah. Don't
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 order
waste
it,
your money on
don't
shipping.
ship it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Come up here and get it. And you guys can contact Chris. He's on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Gingerbeard Barbell.
Gingerbeard Barbell.
I always
And-
respond. So
Yeah. So he's on it. So if you guys want any of those products, the Vikings products, man, give him a call.
And like I said, we're gonna be putting samples in there. We love the feedback on the samples. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think I personally I love them. I think that people will love them as well. So
Yeah. Well, I love them. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for the soap. That's exciting. What do you want to plug?
My nutrition coaching? No, I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing. But they should hit you up for that.
For what?
Nutrition.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's
if you guys.
one thing I would say is that if you guys truly want to change, because I did things for a while, I couldn't stand the thought of eating 200 carbs a day. That to me made me think I was going to be a water buffalo again, right? But a carb
200
buffalo.
carbs. That sounds
basically.
miserable. I'm thinking lack of carbs there.
That's
That'd be-
exactly what I was saying.
I
Yeah,
know,
it's
but
like-
when you're tiny, that sounds like a lot,
Yeah.
and especially as a girl. So I tried things for a long time my way, well, I would say in the middle, like a middle way, and trained really hard. But since I've been consistent with you, with literally nailing my macros and those things have I've been a little over 4 weeks in a day. 4 weeks in a day. So, and I would say biggest thing is just like fat loss. Even though the scale has only changed, I think by like 3 or 4 pounds.
Yeah, recomp's
The
real.
fat loss
Everybody
is
thinks it's a
crazy.
myth. It's not.
Yeah.
It's very real. And you wait till we post her, and you already know. I don't have to tell you. I'm talking to the audience. Like, you just wait till we post Kayla's before and after pictures. It's like, it's cool.
Already, with just
Already
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Are you gonna have your bangs done? And
You're gonna do
I will be ready, okay? I was not supposed to be on camera today, guys.
Yeah, I sprung the news about her being on the podcast today last second, and I'm kind of glad I did, because then she didn't have time to go get all dolled up to the nines and outshine us.
I still outshine.
You still shine bright like a diamond. All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. GStandard Podcast. This is Gym Talk.
Out.
And we'll be back next week. See you guys.
deuces.